For years, the digital world has been dominated by a few giant companies. Apple and Google, through their App Store and Play Store, hold the keys to the mobile kingdom. They decide which apps we can download, how they are presented, and what rules developers must follow to reach us. This immense power worried regulators in the United Kingdom. The Competition and Markets Authority, or CMA, launched an investigation into whether this control was being used unfairly. They were concerned that these tech giants might be giving their own apps a special advantage, making it harder for other developers to compete. This investigation was the first step toward demanding change in the UK's bustling app economy. The CMA's concerns were not just theoretical. They heard from many smaller developers who felt the system was stacked against them. Imagine building a fantastic new app, only to find it buried in search results beneath a similar app made by Apple or Google themselves. Regulators feared this kind of behavior could stifle innovation. If small businesses and independent creators cannot get a fair shot, they might stop trying to build new and better services. This would ultimately leave consumers with fewer choices and less innovation. The CMA's goal was to ensure the digital marketplace remained a space where the best ideas, not the biggest companies, could win. This regulatory pressure was part of a global trend. Governments around the world are waking up to the power held by big tech. The UK, however, wanted to find a solution that would work specifically for its own market. The CMA believed that a fair app ecosystem was crucial for the country's digital economy to grow. They argued that competition drives everyone to do better, leading to higher quality apps, lower prices, and more features for users. The push for fairness was not about punishing success. It was about ensuring that success was earned on a level playing field for every single participant. After a thorough investigation, the CMA concluded that action was needed to rebalance the market. Instead of immediately imposing harsh new laws, the regulator entered into discussions with Apple and Google. The aim was to get the companies to agree to change their behavior voluntarily. This led to the landmark commitments that are now set to reshape how apps are handled in the UK. The agreements represent a significant moment in the ongoing effort to make the digital world a fairer place for businesses and consumers alike, marking a victory for the UK's competition watchdog. At the heart of the new agreements is a simple but powerful promise. Apple and Google will not give their own apps an unfair advantage. This practice, known as self-preferencing, has long been a major concern for developers. It means the tech giants cannot use their control over the app stores to artificially boost their own services, such as Apple Music or Google Maps, over competing apps from other companies. For example, they are forbidden from manipulating search rankings to place their own apps at the top. This commitment is designed to ensure that an app's visibility and success are based on its quality, not its owner. Another key part of the deal is increased transparency. Developers have often complained about the mysterious and sometimes frustrating app review process. An app could be rejected with only a vague explanation, leaving its creators guessing what they did wrong. Under the new rules, both companies have promised to provide clearer and more detailed feedback when an app is not approved. This will help developers understand the guidelines better and fix any issues more quickly. This openness is intended to make the review process feel less like a black box and more like a fair and consistent system for everyone. Protecting developer data is also a crucial element of the commitments. In the past, developers worried that Apple and Google could use the vast amount of data they collect from third-party apps to build their own competing products. For example, they could see which features of a popular new app were most used and then copy them. The new rules prohibit the companies from using this commercially sensitive information to gain an unfair competitive edge. This helps protect the intellectual property of smaller businesses and encourages them to innovate without fear of their ideas being co-opted by the platform owners. Finally, the agreements address how apps are presented to users. Apple and Google have committed to giving third-party apps the same opportunities to be featured and promoted within the app stores as their own services. This includes being highlighted in curated lists like App of the Day or in special seasonal collections. By ensuring equal access to these promotional spots, the CMA wants to give all developers a fair chance to reach a wider audience. This promise aims to dismantle any hidden advantages that the platform owners might have previously enjoyed in their own digital storefronts. These new rules are set to create a much fairer competitive environment for app developers across the United Kingdom. For too long, small studios and independent creators have felt like they were playing a game where the odds were stacked against them. By preventing platform owners from promoting their own products over others. The commitments ensure that success is determined by merit. An innovative app from a small startup will now have a better chance of being discovered by users based on its quality and user ratings, rather than being overshadowed by a similar app from a tech giant. This change fosters a healthier market where creativity can truly flourish. For developers, this means a greater sense of security and opportunity. They can now invest their time, money, and energy into building great products with more confidence that the system is fair. The fear of having their app unfairly suppressed or their business data used against them will be reduced. This stability is vital for the app economy. It encourages risk-taking and long-term investment, which are the essential ingredients for groundbreaking innovation. When developers believe they have a genuine chance to succeed, they are more likely to create the next generation of apps that will define our digital lives. This improved competitive landscape is not just good for developers, it is fantastic for users. When more developers are competing to win our attention, they are driven to create better, faster, and more imaginative apps. This competition can lead to a wider variety of choices, from new social media platforms to unique productivity tools. It also puts pressure on all companies, including Apple and Google, to continuously improve their own apps to stay ahead. Ultimately, a dynamic and competitive market ensures that consumers get the best possible products and services, preventing stagnation and pushing the boundaries of what technology can do. Real-world examples illustrate the importance of this change. Consider the market for web browsers on mobile devices. Both Apple and Google have their own browsers, Safari and Chrome, which come pre-installed and are deeply integrated into their operating system. The new commitments could mean that third-party browsers like Firefox or DuckDuckGo get a fairer chance to be presented to users as viable alternatives. This principle extends to every app category, from music streaming and navigation to photo editing, promising a more diverse and vibrant app ecosystem for everyone in the UK. One of the most significant improvements for developers is the promise of greater transparency in the app review process. Submitting an app for approval has often been a source of anxiety. Developers would spend months or even years creating a product, only to have it rejected by Apple or Google, with little explanation. The feedback could be as simple as violates Guideline 4.2, leaving the developer to guess what the actual problem was. This lack of clarity created delays, frustration, and a sense that the rules were applied inconsistently and unfairly. Under the new commitments, this is set to change. Apple and Google must now provide developers with clearer, more specific, and more meaningful feedback when an app is rejected. Instead of a generic code, a developer might be told exactly which feature or piece of content is problematic and why. This simple change will make a huge difference. It allows developers to understand the issue precisely and address it directly, saving them valuable time and resources. This turns the review process from a frustrating obstacle into a more constructive dialogue. This newfound openness is expected to streamline the entire app submission and update cycle. When developers know the exact rules of the game and receive clear guidance, they can ensure their apps are compliant from the start. This leads to faster approval times and allows developers to get their products and updates into the hands of users more quickly. A more efficient process benefits everyone. It helps developers run their businesses more effectively and ensures that users receive timely bug fixes and new features, improving the overall quality of the app ecosystem. Ultimately, making the approval process more transparent helps build trust. When the rules are clear and applied consistently to all apps, developers can have more confidence that they are being judged fairly. This transparency is essential for maintaining a healthy and professional relationship between the platforms and the vast community of creators who build for them. It helps create a more predictable and stable environment, which is crucial for any business operating on the app stores. This shift toward clarity marks a move away from an arbitrary system toward one based on fairness and mutual understanding. A critical promise secured by the CMA is that Apple and Google will no longer use non-public data from third-party apps to help their own competing services. This has been a deep-seated fear for many developers. They worried that the very platforms they relied on could act as a spy, analyzing their app's performance data to gain an unfair advantage. For example, if a small developer created a popular new photo editing app, the platform owner could see which filters were most used and then incorporate similar ones into their own pre-installed photo app, effectively neutralizing their competitor. This commitment is a vital safeguard for the intellectual property and business strategies of countless developers. The data an app generates is incredibly valuable. It reveals insights into user behavior, feature popularity, and potential growth areas. By preventing Apple and Google from using this sensitive information for their own commercial gain, the agreement ensures that a developer's hard work and innovation will not be turned against them. This protection is fundamental for fostering a climate of trust, where developers feel secure enough to build their businesses on these powerful platforms without holding back their best ideas. This rule on data usage is a cornerstone of leveling the playing field. It helps ensure that competition in the app market is based on who can build the best product, not on who has privileged access to inside information. A startup should be able to compete with a tech giant based on the quality of its app's features and user experience. This principle prevents the platform owners from using their unique position as gatekeepers to also become unbeatable competitors. It helps maintain a fair market where smaller companies have a real chance to grow and challenge the incumbents. For consumers, this protection has indirect but important benefits. When developers are confident that their business data is safe, they are more likely to experiment with new and innovative features. This drives progress across the entire app ecosystem, leading to more creative and diverse applications for us to use. It prevents the market from becoming a monoculture dominated by a few large players and instead encourages a rich tapestry of different ideas and services. This rule is a fundamental part of creating a more balanced, equitable, and dynamic app economy for all. As part of its individual commitments, Apple has agreed to give third-party developers better access to certain features and technologies on its devices. In the past, some capabilities of the iPhone and iPad were reserved exclusively for Apple's own apps, or access was severely restricted. This limited what other developers could create, putting them at a disadvantage. A key example is the near-field communication chip, which powers contactless payments. Broader access will allow other apps, such as those from banks or loyalty programs, to create their own seamless tap-to-pay experiences. Another powerful tool that will become more accessible to developers is live translation. This technology, built into the iPhone software, can translate spoken conversations in real time. By allowing third-party apps to integrate this feature, Apple is opening up a world of possibilities. A travel app could use it to help a tourist order food in a foreign language, or a messaging app could use it to facilitate conversations between people who speak different languages. This move empowers developers to build richer, more capable, and more useful apps that take full advantage of the device they are running on. These changes are designed to help third-party apps compete more effectively with Apple's own services. When all developers have access to the same powerful hardware and software tools, they can create apps that are just as polished and deeply integrated as those made by the platform owner. This fosters a more vibrant and competitive ecosystem where innovation is not limited to the company that manufactures the device. It ensures that the best app wins, regardless of who made it, which pushes the entire industry forward and benefits users in the end. For UK consumers, this means their favorite apps will get better. Imagine a third-party fitness app that can now use device sensors in a more sophisticated way to track your workouts, or a navigation app that integrates more smoothly with the car's infotainment system. By breaking down these technical barriers, Apple is enabling a new wave of innovation from the developer community. This ensures that users get the best possible experience and the most functionality from the devices they own, no matter which apps they choose to download and use every day. The way the UK's Competition and Markets Authority has handled this issue highlights a distinctly practical and flexible approach to regulating big tech. Rather than engaging in a lengthy and confrontational process to create rigid new laws, the CMA chose to work with Apple and Google to secure voluntary commitments. This method allows for a more collaborative solution that can be tailored specifically to the problems within the app market. It stands in contrast to the more prescriptive, rule-based approach seen in other regions, such as the European Union with its Digital Markets Act. This pragmatic strategy recognizes that the app economy is a massive contributor to the UK's growth and innovation. The CMA's goal was not to punish the tech giants or stifle their operations with heavy-handed regulation. Instead, the focus was on fostering a healthier market. By obtaining these promises directly from the companies, the regulator was able to achieve its core objectives, promoting fairness and competition without the delays and complexities of passing new legislation. This approach is seen as more agile and adaptable, which is crucial in the fast-paced and ever-changing world of technology. However, this cooperative stance does not mean the regulator is being soft. The CMA has been very clear that these commitments are just the beginning and that it will be watching closely to ensure compliance. The agreements are legally binding, and the authority has stated that it is fully prepared to take stronger enforcement action if the companies fail to live up to their promises. This balanced approach combines the efficiency of collaboration with the credible threat of formal action, ensuring that the commitments are taken seriously and have a real-world impact on the market. This UK model of regulation could serve as a template for other countries looking to address the power of big tech. It demonstrates that it is possible to achieve meaningful change without resorting to a one-size-fits-all legislative hammer. By focusing on specific outcomes and securing enforceable commitments, regulators can address market imbalances in a way that is both effective and supportive of continued innovation. It is a nuanced strategy designed to correct problems while preserving the dynamism that makes the digital economy so valuable. These groundbreaking commitments from Apple and Google are not yet final. The CMA has opened a consultation period, allowing the public and other interested parties to provide feedback on the proposed agreements. This important step gives other developers, businesses, and consumer advocacy groups a chance to share their views and suggest potential improvements. This consultation will remain open until March 3, 2026. After all the feedback has been reviewed and considered, the finalized commitments are scheduled to officially come into effect on April 1, 2026. Once the rules are in place, the CMA will take on the crucial role of a watchdog. The authority will actively monitor both Apple and Google to ensure they are adhering to their promises of fairness and transparency. This ongoing oversight is essential to guarantee that the agreements translate into real, lasting change within the UK's app market. The CMA has the power to launch new investigations and impose penalties if it discovers that the companies are not complying with the terms they have agreed to, ensuring the new rules have teeth. This regulatory action is part of a much broader strategy in the UK to manage the influence of major technology platforms. The App Store agreements are a significant milestone, but they are likely just one piece of a larger puzzle. We can expect to see further regulatory measures in the future aimed at ensuring digital markets remain competitive, innovative, and fair for both businesses and consumers. The ultimate goal is to build a digital economy where power is more balanced and opportunity is more widespread, preventing any single company from becoming too dominant. The long-term success of these changes will depend on vigilant and consistent enforcement by the regulators. For developers, these commitments offer the promise of a fairer marketplace where their hard work can be rewarded. For users, they mean more choice, better quality, and more innovative apps. This is a pivotal moment for the UK's digital landscape. It is a test of whether a collaborative but firm regulatory approach can successfully reshape the behavior of the world's most powerful companies and create a more equitable future for technology.